Before we get into the video, make sure y'all like, subscribe if you're new. I mean, come on, what are you doing if you're not? Sub to me by now. My content is fire. From Transformers News videos, stop motions, toy reviews, toy photography breakdowns, music occasionally. My Instagram and TikTok are all linked down below. And yeah, let's get straight to it. Okay, so I finished watching the new episodes of Earthspark a few days ago, and I was writing up my thoughts on each episode, just notes that I'm gonna run through for you guys and give you guys my general opinion on each episode and the show as a whole. So, first up, episode 11, it was nice to see Skullcrunch, even though he was locked up for a good part of the episode. The Terrans finding Bumblebee's old alt mode was pretty funny, like, I think it was hashtag, she found an image or a video of him online with the more, like, Volkswagen-esque alt mode, and they were all laughing at him, and Bumblebee was embarrassed. That was a funny scene. And Nightshade not wanting an alt mode was pretty interesting for the character, and there's a lot of other things I'm going to touch on about that character later on that's also pretty cool and interesting. And the thing about hashtag, I loved her name, her personality, and alt mode. It's very fitting for her character and how she acts, and it was just a nice new original Transformers character to see, in my opinion. And then the Decepticon jailbreak scene was pretty cool. The Insecticon hologram powers was nice to see on the show. It was also cool to see hashtag's hacking powers during that whole sequence. I don't really recall any other Transformer having that power. There probably was, I'm just not thinking of any off the top of my head. And then lastly, the last note I had for this episode was Nightshade being the smart one. Nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. I think they need that sort of dynamic between each character. You know, you got Jawbreaker as the bulky type, you got hashtag as the one that's cracking jokes. Thrash is also a little more lighthearted. Twitch, I guess you could see as the leader, and of course Nightshade being the more scientific one like Wheeljack. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about episode... Excuse me there, I had a frog in my throat. That's all I wanted to say about episode 11, but episode 12, next up, I think there was a Thundercats reference in that episode, if I'm remembering things correctly, and there was also a kaiju reference too. One of the kids said something about kaijus and stuff. And then Jawbreaker was interviewing bots for their alt mode because he was confused on the whole thing, and he still hasn't scanned one, which is pretty cool. And hashtag helping was funny and obviously fitting for her character because she loves movies and stuff like that. And it was also cool seeing a different side of the Transformers interacting with each other, seeing Megatron's soft side and Alita actually having a workout routine and her talking about how Optimus doesn't really like to work out with her. And then Jawbreaker not knowing what to scan is a pretty cool arc too. I don't think we've really ever seen that in the Transformers media before. And chasing the little droid for the camera was a dumb scene in my opinion, because I feel like they could have easily just gotten it, like hashtag could have just easily transformed and just drove right up to the little droid, because it's not like the droid was running fast or anything. But anyway, hashtag saying "power of cinema" was a funny line. I think that was she said it a couple times in that episode, I think. And then the last note I have here was ending is pretty cool and giving hashtag gifts in the talk with Jawbreaker. It was a nice little heartwarming ending, I'd say. But yeah, that's it for episode 12. Episode 13. Nightshade seems to be pretty antisocial. We see that right off the bat in the beginning of this episode, not really wanting to hang out with anybody, him wanting to stay in the lab that he created for everybody. And then Tarantulas, I was surprised by Tarantulas, like, really different take, but it was also cool, and him wanting a human form and feeling alone from other Decepticons because of how he looks is different for the character, but it seems very fitting too, because Tarantulas has always been this weird kind of character that's sort of socially awkward. I sort of found in Beast Wars cartoon and stuff, so I think that was a nice evolution of the character. And Tarantulas also not wanting, him not fully wanting to be a Decepticon and having a soft side was cool too. him sort of being more emotional and less psychotic like his Beast Wars counterpart. It was cool seeing Tarantulas' hologram powers too. I don't think you ever used that before. It seems like a lot of characters have like power sets and like hologram powers that we didn't see too often. There were characters like Hound and Mirage and Trailbreaker that had powers like that, and many others. That's just the ones I could think of off the top of my head. But the scene where Nightshade was scanning the owl, it's cool that he scanned an owl because it seems pretty fitting for his character. But him saying that phrase from the book that his quote-unquote dad gave him while Tarantulas was standing there ready to shoot his parents, he was saying the quote for like 10 seconds, like just sitting there pausing. It seemed like a really dumb scene. And I know this is a kid's cartoon, so when I bring up instances of dumb scenes, it's not like I'm taking it too seriously. It's just how it is, you know, it being more lighthearted and it being targeted for kids and all. Another thing I noticed in this episode, Tarantulas really loved to say the word work, like, get away from my work, our work, Nightshade, but our work. Like, he would say it like, it felt like almost every other sentence or something. That was kind of annoying, but obviously nothing too bad. Tarantulas versus Nightshade was pretty short, but what we did see from those two fighting each other was pretty cool, and afterwards Tarantulas having his sort of redeeming arc in the end, sort of helping the Maltos and Nightshade, him being the distraction when Ghost arrived, is pretty cool. And lastly, we're kind of left in limbo in this episode. We don't really know for sure, off the top of my memory, if Tarantulas was actually captured by Ghost. I don't think we saw anything, so it'd be interesting to see in the next episodes, whatever they drop, whenever that is, what happened to Tarantulas after that Ghost interaction. And now on to episode 14, notes and what I liked and what I didn't like about it. The intro with the 3 agents finding Bumblebee at the raceway was a little stupid. Like, we found Bumblebee! Like, it definitely dove into that more kiddie type thing that they're going for with this cartoon, which I didn't really like, but I get what they're doing. Bumblebee's new racing persona is nice, and the reason for him doing it to finding Breakdown, which is his best friend and stuff like that, is pretty cool. I didn't mind that change for the character. Changes like that are really welcome for me. It's Transformers. These characters are supposed to be different from iteration to iteration. Breakdown and Bumblebee's friendship is neat, and the banter when they first met up, like towards the beginning of the episode, was pretty good with the whole choosing sides, Decepticon, Autobot sort of thing. John, the brother from Ghost, is a fun character. Anytime he shows up and he's like acting all awkward and saying these funny jokes, it's always entertaining to me. Breakdown also had some cool moves, I'd say, during the final battle. It was really nice to see him do some actual stunts, because, you know, he's a stunticon. The fight with Ghost is cool, but at times it was a little mindless, like when Breakdown saved Bumblebee and all the agents just stood there and let them run away and wreak havoc on all the cars and the soldiers. That was dumb. And there was a couple other instances during that battle, but I can't remember off the top of my head. And also, the Ghost agents running and driving towards them looked dumb with the whole timing thing. Like, Breakdown and Bumblebee are just standing in the raceway talking while they're all just running and driving over to them, when they could just easily shoot them and stuff and hurt them really badly. So that was also stupid. But the banter with the siblings running Ghost wasn't bad after the whole fighting sequence ended. I thought that was a nice little dialogue exchange between the two Ghost agents. And Breakdown is captured at the end of this episode. What is his future in the next season or next batch of episodes? It's really curious to see if Bumblebee's gonna help rescue him or something like that. Who knows, who knows? Now on to episode 15. What is up with the alien centipedes in the ghost crates? It was sort of like a teaser in this episode. It wasn't really delved into, so I'm thinking later on in the show they're gonna go back into those aliens at some point. And then the mother with the prosthetic leg, I'm forgetting her name, is cool. I really like the scene, seeing her getting ready, putting the leg on and stuff like that. There was also a cute Mother's Day theme to this episode, I thought. It was nice weaving in the whole family aspect of things. Jawbreaker and Thrash just cannot rap. When they had the Mother's Day episode when they had the Mother's Day party, I should say, for their mom, it was funny seeing them rap. And then Twitch getting an actual baby bear instead of a teddy bear when she had the talk with the human brother, it was funny. And then she comes back with an actual real baby bear. That was a funny scene. And then the mama got a prosthetic leg gun. Like, what? Nightshade really pimped out that leg for her. That was pretty cool and funny at times. And the mother's reaction to seeing the alien centipedes, I thought, was a little stupid. Like, that's a problem for another day, kids. Like, if that was a scene with a bit for a older demographic, that would not happen, like, at all. And in the end, the mother bear that they were chasing throughout the episode reuniting with the cub was kind of cute. Again, a nice little cute family-oriented ending, which I like the whole aspect of this show having the family aspect to it and stuff, which was cute. Now we're getting down to the last couple episodes, people. Episode 16, seeing that Allspark flashback was really dope. That fight scene and the Terrans and kids reenacting the flashback was also cute as well to see. And then seeing Megatron having a more emotional side yet again in this episode was cool. And the Allspark story, it does feel old at this point, but the slight differences in the story, like Megatron switching sides, I guess you could sort of make up for it. But can we talk about Shockwave? That dude is so epic, bruh. He was really kicking butt and having some cool lines in this episode. I really liked the way they did Shockwave. And when B said sorry shrapnel during the flashback scene with the Allspark, I was like, why is he saying sorry? He's literally trying to kill him to get the Allspark. But anyway, Thrash having pushback and feeling he has a lot of weight and responsibility for his race of Terrans, being the last hope for Transformers because of what happened in the war with the Allspark when Megatron was explaining all that to the Terrans. It was cool to see some pushback with him. Not every character is just going to go along with that in the real world, you know. And then Shockwave calling Terrans accidents of the Emberstone was funny, and him feeling Megatron betrayed him, and it really brought out what Shockwave's motives were. And there's an immobilizer gadget that Shockwave created that was so cool. Him actually showing off some inventions during this battle. Shockwave versus Megatron, great, absolutely chef's kiss, loved that scene. And then Shockwave calling the humans sentient bags of goo was pretty funny, I'd say. But I want to talk about what is Shockwave's future, because Megatron, if I'm remembering things correctly, he shot him with the mobilizer gadget, so I don't know like how he's gonna wake up or what he's gonna do next, or if that's the end of Shockwave's story or something, who knows. But Megatron talking about realizing his mistakes at the end, and him talking about the war and the Transformers race going almost extinct. It was very sort of touching, I guess you could say, seeing him feel the regret and feel the weight of his actions during that time in the war. And now on to episode 17, the last episode of these new batches. The bot that B was fighting at the beginning, he didn't talk at all, so I was like, who the heck is this? But then when Bumblebee said Brawl, I was like, what? They killed off Brawl? Like, no. But Grimlock, he was so cool during the cage match in this episode. He was under mind control from the scientist. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but I'll probably remember it later on. Cage match trap, like that woman literally set up an 8-year-old girl in some itty-bitty transformer for a cage match. Like, that was crazy. That lady should be in jail as far as I'm concerned. And seeing Mandroid's return, that's his name, Mandroid. And I was so surprised seeing Brawl's corpse when they zoomed in on the ball joint for the connecting it to the shoulder. Like, they finally made ball joints canon in the Transformers media, people. I can't remember if they did it anywhere else, but this feels like the first example of seeing ball joints in Transformers media. It's crazy. And also, the worm sort of robot that I think Mandroid created, is that supposed to be like a Driller reference from Dark of the Moon? Because they look kind of similar. Maybe I'm reaching here, maybe I'm not, I don't know. But the finale was cute with them teaming up to save Hashtag from, I think she was under mind control or something like that. And at the very, very end, sort of like a post-credit scene, the lady from Ghost and Mandroid teaming up with batch controllers to control the Transformers. Who knows what future that's gonna hold in later episodes. I'm really excited for that, to see how that plays out and how the Autobots are gonna handle it. But, yeah, that's pretty much all the notes I had here for all these episodes. There were some misses with some of the scenes, but overall I think this is a pretty decent Transformers show so far, and I'm definitely looking forward to more episodes. I'd say it's on par with Cyberverse, or maybe even just a tad bit better. But it seems like we're going somewhere with these newer Transformers cartoons. We may be working it back up to the animated and Prime and Beast Wars sort of quality of cartoons again someday, I'm hoping. But yeah, guys, I dug these new batch of episodes. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you guys think of these new eps? And yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say in this video. Bye!